Bonjour! Good day, fellow travelers. Mark here with Wolters World, and we're in Montreal, Canada, one of the coolest, most multicultural cities in the world. Fantastic place to go. And even fantastic places like Montreal with amazing food and cool stuff to see have things you're not going to like. And that's why today what we have for you are the 5 things you're going to love and hate about visiting Montreal. Now, the first thing I want to talk about before we get into 5 love and hates is the fact that this is in Quebec, and French is the language, the de facto language here. However, that's in Quebec in general. Here in Montreal, though the signs will all be in French, they might have English, but it'll be in a smaller text on your menus and stuff. But French is a de facto language, but you can speak English here, no problem. People here speak 2, 3, 4 languages, French, English, and something else, no problem. So you won't have a problem with the French side. So that is not a hate for here, that's just kind of a cool multicultural thing. Anyway, let's get to the hates. So the first thing you're not going to like about coming to Montreal is, guys, when the sun goes down and the tourists kind of thin out, it does get a little seedy here. I know we were walking around last night, we went through Chinatown and we went back to our hotel kind of in downtown. We're down here in Old Montreal, and you get kind of this seedy feeling to it. Yes, there are strip clubs and things like that, and that's not really that bad of the seediness, but the people on the street and things like that kind of really make it kind of seedy. And though you can really enjoy Montreal with your family, at night I would bring the family into the hotel, okay, or have the adults go out, and I'll talk about the great nightlife later, but just know it gets a little seedy at night in downtown Montreal. And that's some of the reasons for that. Is number 2 is you do have quite a few people that are partying here, and there are a lot of drunks at night, but also there is a homeless issue here in Montreal, and you'll see them on some of the main streets, even in some of the tourist parts of town. You will see them. Most of the time they will not cause you any problems. It's just once the tourists and the workers start to thin out, you have a lot more of them and you notice them more, and it can give you kind of an uneasy feel. So if you feel unsafe, go to the other side of the street or whatever, but just know that's a thing you might not like. The third thing you might not like about coming to Montreal is, this is a totally a personal thing, is there's a lot of pot that is smoked in this city. Now, it's not legal to have recreational pot, but medicinal marijuana is legal, and it seems like a lot of people have medicinal reasons. And we've been walking around town, and even my 7-year-old's like, what's that smell? It's all over the city. You will bump into a lot of people on the street, in your hotel pools, smoking pot up in Mount Royal. You'll see that a lot, and it's not a bad or a good thing. It's just something you should be aware of if you are going around with your kids. I know the hotel we were at, we were swimming in the pool. It was on the top floor outside. There was a mom there with her 2 kids, and she was smoking up on the side of the pool. I'm like, come on. So just know that there is a lot of pot smoked here, so just be prepared for that, okay? Now, some outdoor extracurricular activity things that you might not like. The 4th thing is, Montreal is expensive, okay? Canada overall is, I feel, more expensive than the US. I mean, not more than New York, but typical US. And Montreal is no different. But here, I would say, the 3 most expensive ones, Vancouver, Toronto, and here in Montreal, and it is a pricey place to go. The food is quite pricey, the hotels are quite pricey. However, what's cool is the food here is fantastic, so you don't mind spending the extra money for the food, but just know that it is not a vacation for your wallet when you do come to Montreal. And the 5th thing you might not like, which is kind of funny because I'll talk about the great nightlife and my loves, but at nighttime, the streets kind of roll up. The stores close a little bit earlier, the malls kind of slow down and close up early during the evening. So when you come out of the restaurants, you have the seediness, but there's not even stores open, or too many stores open, I should say, that you can go into, okay? So those are the 5 things you might not like about coming to Montreal. A few other little things, parking downtown can be a pain and can be expensive, so pay attention for that. The winter time, yes, it does get cold, but they do a really good job of the snow removal, so don't worry about that. And of course, it's a big city, so it's a big city attitude a lot of times, so there are those things. But overall, it is a very cool city to come visit. So let's get into the things you're going to love. The first thing you're going to love about Montreal, and what I think is the coolest, is this is the most multicultural city you can find, not just in Canada, but I feel almost anywhere in North America or the Americas, because you have, yes, there is the French and there is the English because it is Canada, but you have Brazilian, you have Italian, you have Chinese. You can go to all these different parts of town. There is a Little Italy, there is a China Chinatown, and you get this whole multicultural feel in the city, which gives it this vibe of, and it's not boring. And that multiculturalism here really brings it out. And that's why it's, you know, Quebec City, you need to know some French. Here, you don't need to, because there's so many international people and so many cultures here that it is really cool. The second thing you're going to like about coming here is this is a very cosmopolitan city. Okay, you've got skyscrapers, you've got fantastic museums like the Museum of Fine Arts or Musée des Beaux-Arts. You know, there's really cool museums here. All kinds of stuff from the Olympics that were here in '76, out at the Olympic Stadium and out around there, the Insectarium, the Biodome where they redo, you know, some biospheres around the world. I mean, it's really cool, and all this cosmopolitan stuff, which you're not used to when you're coming up here. You're expecting old world stuff. No, it's a very cosmopolitan city, cosmopolitan people, food, all kinds of stuff. The third thing you're going to love is the history of Montreal, specifically walking around Old Montreal, because you can go to the Basilica of Notre Dame, beautiful church to go into inside with the stained glass and the pulpit there. It is just really cool. Walking around here, we're at the Place Jacques Cartier. You can come here and see this and fantastic architecture, 19th century buildings, early 20th century skyscrapers, all kinds of fantastic stuff. And you go around and you see all these things, from the markets to the architecture, and it is really cool just to wander, you know, the old town, Old Montreal, go to the old port, go to the Science Museum, all kinds of fantastic things. The fourth thing you're going to love about coming to Montreal is the food. Guys, they did bring the French culture here and the language, but also the French desire for fantastic food. And here, what's cool is you have a variety of food, okay? You want Brazilian, you can have that. You want Chinese, you can have that. You want Italian, you can have that. You want Canadian, we've got that for you too. And what's cool is it's all good. Yes, it's pricey, but the food here is fantastic, and it really is a good foodie city. I mean, a lot of hipsters like to come here too because it's got this really cool vibe that's here. But while within that, the food is probably the quintessential part of it. So get out and eat, eat, eat. Our hotel doesn't have breakfast, and I'm not upset at all because I get to go eat more of the fantastic food here. And the fifth thing you're gonna love about coming here is this is the nightlife of Canada. Montreal has the best clubs, the best bars, the best nightlife. If you're looking for something extra, they've got all kinds of craziness here. And it's not just crazy stuff. They have fantastic theaters, operas, all kinds of amazing things here. Amazing festivals, you know, Just for Laughs Comedy Festival, the International Jazz Festival. Heck, they have a fireworks festival here in the summer you can check out. And it's great because there's so much to do. You want to go see movies? Yes, they're in French, also in English. You can get it all here in Montreal, and it's got fabulous nightlife. And you know what I said, it gets a little seedy at night. That's really what you need to worry about if you're here with kids. If you're an adult and you're here by yourself or with your spouse or your partner or whatever, they've got some cool stuff for you here. And really, I mean, people come from all over Canada, and actually all over the world, to see this city because of the nightlife and some of the fantastic things here. You know, like this city and the old town and all this great stuff. And heck, I didn't even get into talking about the nature, you know, going to the Mont Royal or going over to the park or to the islands or getting out of town. There's so much awesomeness here in Montreal that it really is worth your time to stop by. If you want to know more, our top 10 things to do and see here in Montreal, 5 things you love and hate about Canada, we have them all on our website at woltersworld.com. But please, if you have any questions or comments or things you love and hate about Montreal, please put it in the comments section below. We always like to have a little bit more from other people's perspective. So, we hope you liked the video. See you later, and au revoir from Montreal, really cool city here in Canada. Bye.